I've been playing this game for a few days now, and it kind of surprised me, almost out of nowhere. So I was browsing through Steam's latest sale. This is the Capitalism and Economy Fest. Yeah, great sale name right there. And I came across this wonderful little gem called Slipways. It's a game that bills itself as a 3X title. Now, many of you will no doubt be aware of the 4X genre, the grand strategy genre, where 4X stands for Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. With Slipways, there's one of those X's missing, which is the Exterminate one. There's no combat here, hence 3X, Explore, Expand, and Exploit. And I've got to say, it is a heck of a lot of fun. It's the type of game that you can jump into for just 10 minutes at a time and feel you've achieved something, or equally find that you only intended to jump in for 10 minutes and find an hour later or even 2 hours later you're still really planning your empire and intricately adjusting various different parameters. Nowadays, there's not that many games that I can honestly say I find addictive, but this would certainly classify as one of those. At the moment, on sale, the game is priced at $6.99, and for that price, it's really good value. At least, especially if you enjoy these type of games. And yeah, at this point, this game is a few years old, but it's one that I completely missed when it was released. So, Slipways tasks players with the ambitious goal of constructing a flourishing interstellar empire. The core of the game revolves around establishing networks between various types of planets. You can see all of those on the screen right here. So obviously, this isn't a realistic depiction of space. There's no star systems and various different suns, all that lovely stuff. Instead, we've got planets that produce various different resources from which you can extract. And that really is the core of the game. It revolves around establishing networks between these various types of planets, each with distinct needs for survival and growth. The gameplay involves a delicate balance of ensuring resource availability across your entire empire, where the right connection can lead to thriving planets, while a misstep, connecting the wrong type of planet, could ultimately spell disaster. Now, a key aspect of Slipways is understanding and managing different planet types. So each planet requires certain imports for sustenance, and equally each planet can export valuable resources in turn. The intrigue lies in the unknown. Players must explore uncharted territories using probes, a process that consumes both time and in-game currency. You can kind of eject these probes out and they take a turn, advancing the game by a month. So this is the exploration side of the game, and it really is critical for expansion of your empire, but it does come with risks as the types of planets awaiting discovery are initially unknown. You can see these as the dark orbs spread around the galaxy, kind of signals. Some of them are strong signals which are almost guaranteed to be a planet, others are medium or weak signals, and you never really know quite what you're going to get. Maybe it's not a planet, it might be an asteroid, otherwise it might be a useless planet with no resources. Now, integral to the game's name and the gameplay are the so-called slipways. These are the connections between the planets. These pathways are essential for resource transport, but come with a strategic challenge. They cannot intersect. You cannot cross these slipways. And this limitation really does necessitate foresight and meticulous planning, because if you make a connection wrong, you could really completely screw up your empire. You may not realize that until a little way down the line. And this really is one of the sides of the game that I have enjoyed. It really does require a lot of foresight and planning. Additionally, sustainability is a vital component in maintaining a higher happiness score within your empire. This is a simplified metric, a little bit like civic and public order stats in grand strategy games. It's a barometer for your ruler's success. So you can have negative and positive influences on your civilians' happiness, and if your overall trend is downwards, that you have more negative than positive, your overall happiness score will gradually decline, and eventually this will mean game over. Conversely, you can try and maintain a neutral balance, or preferably you can maintain a positive balance and exceed 100%, in fact go way over that. So each individual planet has its own level of happiness. This can be a negative or positive as said, and this is determined by the balance of resources that the planet actually has available. And these are in turn determined by what you import into that planet. And that comes from the slipway connections. You connect one planet to the other. So there's a whole ton of different aspects to consider in terms of resources, and one of these is time, which in itself is, well, as much of a resource as the minerals and food trading between the planets. So each game is time constrained, typically spanning 25 in-game years, which translates to a real-time gameplay ranging from 45 minutes to a couple of hours, depending on how long it takes you to really plan out each turn. But there's also another available option to play the game. You can go for an endless option where there's not a time limit and you can just keep on playing. So there's multiple modes to the game, really allowing you to choose how you want to play. Ultimately, every action from probing the unknown to establishing slipways consumes time, adding a layer of strategic depth to the game. One of the hallmarks for this game is the emphasis on balancing efficiency with risk-taking. When colonising a planet, it immediately starts producing and requiring resources, so late-game technologies can alleviate some of the strain, but overconfidence can lead to overextension, and that in turn leads to a cascade of unmet needs across the Empire, and pretty soon you can find your Empire completely failing. And for me, this was perhaps one of the most addictive and fun parts of the game. It requires some meticulous planning, and really thinking, looking at the board, looking at the various resources, and really planning out where you want things to go and what type of connections you ultimately want to make. The game also adds in a few other layers, but with things such as the perks, which come from your team of advisors, as well as some research allowing you to develop new technologies. In order to research, you'll need to gather research points, and this in turn comes from different resources that you'll find gathered around the map. Throughout your play session, your council will also give you various different objectives to try and achieve, and if you accept these, you can please the council, earning yourself extra benefits and bonuses. All of this then combines together at the end, everything you achieve here, to a score, which is awarded at the end of the 25-year period. Interestingly then, Slipways is one of those rare games which is built on a very simple premise and has some very simple gameplay mechanics, yet each of these combine together to form a game that has surprising complexity and depth, and really does pose both a challenge as well as offering a lot of fun. So yeah, I found this really is a great game that combines both elements of puzzle as well as strategy, an unusual mix that really can be very, very compelling. If you want to find out more about this title, do check out those links in the video description. Meanwhile, why not check out these other videos on the screen right here? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.